Welcome to this week's Cosmedi Pros. Today I am here with Huda from Ultimate Scalps. Huda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on. Matt owns a Scalp Micropigmentation clinic in Liverpool. How did you first discover SMP and get into it as a professional?
I've always been into beauty, so I wanted to initially do eyebrows. So basically, yeah, I've always had a thing for the beauty industry. So I was going to go on and do microblading, but that fell through. Yeah, one day I was sitting on Instagram and an advert come up and I thought, what is this? I haven't heard of it. So I did my research and then I just booked in to do the training.
How long have you been practicing as an artist?
4 years now.
So was that during COVID, or just on the...
Yeah, I started just before COVID. That was my struggles because I just started. I did the training 2019, the end of 2019. And then I started trading 2020 January, and then we were hit with COVID 2 months later.
Yeah.
So that made it difficult for me.
And coming out of COVID, did you find any particular struggles with the market?
But during COVID, I was doing all the online stuff. So I thought, while I couldn't do it, let's focus on the social media. So I opened a Facebook, Instagram, website, designed leaflets, designed a logo, come up with a business name and did all that. So I thought when it's time to go, start, then I can. So coming out of COVID, because I was practicing in the house, on them practice skins. So I was practicing on them because I thought I don't want to forget what I'm doing. But I felt as soon as I finished with the training, you're left in the deep end. You've got to do it on your own. So that's when I discovered Craig. We both got trained by the same company. I messaged him and he was like, come and I'll teach you a few things and that. And to begin with, obviously, I done family members. Because you know how it is. You don't want to start doing a client. And then it's, oh my God, what's she done? So I started off doing my husband, my brothers. And yeah, I just picked up from there. So I found that straight after COVID, no, the industry was booming. It's like everybody wanted it done. And I was doing it from a barber shop. So it was like I was renting 3 days from him. He wasn't like open. He was only open for 4 days. So the place was mine for 3 days. And I felt, yeah, people are wanting it done. And yeah, I was doing okay. And I loved it. But now I'm finding it it's slow. And it's hard to be out there because I'm noticing not a lot of people know about it, especially it's big in like London, down south, and places like that in Birmingham. But Liverpool, it's a bit slow. And when I tell people, they're like, what's that? Like, what is scalp micro? So you sit and explaining to people and they're like, wow, I've never heard of it. So it's just getting out there really, which is another obstacle because it's money, again, on the marketing. Because the more money you put into the marketing, the more you'll get back. But if you're not getting money coming in, it's difficult. Do you know what I mean? So I'm dealing with reviews, and then you've got the SEO, and then obviously you've got to do ads on Google, which is like not cheap. And then you're doing ads on Instagram, Facebook, and then you need content. So I'm thinking, oh, what do I put up if I'm quiet? So it's difficult. It really is hard because people think, oh, it's easy. All she's doing is dots. Like, how hard can it be? And I'm like, no, it's what comes behind it that people don't see. The preparation, the sanitizing, the cleaning, do you know what I mean? Getting the needles, your supplies, and they're not cheap. But for some reason, when you give people a price, they assume it's worth £100 or something, or 200 max. And I'm like, no. So yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I think that's a very like problem you highlight there with the lack of awareness, and like with
Yeah,
that, because there's a lack of awareness, that kind of makes the marketing more expensive because you've got to do awareness marketing as well as conversion sort of
exactly.
marketing and get people knowing about it. And I do, yeah, find that worked with people in the sort of Liverpool areas and stuff, and it's definitely a quieter market than surrounding London. But I think there's more people like you coming on this show doing other sort of popular thing, getting it in with other hair treatments and want it on that selection. So
Yeah,
people are
exactly.
searching for it. So what do you find? You mentioned quite a few SEO, advertising. Do you do all that yourself?
Marketing companies, but again, that's it. It's choosing your marketing companies and knowing who is doing the work. because a lot of marketing people just take your money and nothing's getting done. So you learn as you go along, but I've become very wary now. I'm very selective who I choose, because a lot of them will message you on Instagram. Oh, I see you could do with more marketing. It's good what you do. You need more awareness, and we target SMP artists. And I'm like, no, because they're asking for grants, and then it's one of them. Are you really going to give me leads? Are you really? I get it, it's slow, but obviously I'm a mother, so I'm doing this part time. So with me, it's very, I'm not saying I don't mind if I'm quiet. I'm like, I'd love to be busier than what I am now, but I'm just very restricted because I don't want to waste my money and not getting a return. So I tend to do like word of mouth now and try and get my reviews in while they're doing the treatments. So once they finish the first treatment, I know they love it. I'm like, do you mind leaving me a review? Or some of them will be like, oh, I'll leave you a review now while you're doing my hair. Do you know what I mean? Because I noticed at the beginning, I was finishing the treatment and I was like, oh, leave me a review. Yes, send me the link. And then you send the link. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they're lazy or they don't want the name to pop up on Google or whatever excuse it is. So I've started now after the first session now, leave me a review. That's why some of my reviews are like, just only had my first session or completed my second. And if I don't get that review, then do you know what I mean? Some loads of reviews, but like I said, in this industry, there's no right or wrong. You've just got to learn for yourself. And obviously, with more skills, with more head you do, everyone's different. You can have people saying, oh, such and such needle is the best, and I go and buy it, and I'm like, not necessarily. I didn't like it, and it'll be one of the best needles out there, but it just didn't work for me. Do you know what I mean? And it could be everyone's, oh, this ink is the best ink, or this pigment, and then you go and buy it, and I'm like, no, the other pigment that I was using is actually better. So I always think with scalp micropigmentation, it's what suits you, what works with you. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you've got to think of the client's skin again, you know, clients, because some textures are like stiff and dry and it's hard, do you know what I mean, with the needle. It takes you longer to do. And then you get clients with softer skin because they produce more oil. So that's good skin to work with. So it makes it easier for you. So it just depends. I just think it's what suits you, to be honest. Because I was at the beginning, like listening to artists, because obviously they've got more experience than me, and you know what I mean? They've been doing it for so many years. And then when you go and buy what they use, you're like, no, it doesn't work with me. So it's one of them, you just learn as you go along.
Yeah, I think as well, the key, obviously with SMP, there is
Yeah,
an artist element to it, and that does, not all dots are the same. It's not
yeah,
just
yeah,
put dots
yeah.
on head. And yeah, it is going to be like what works best for you. Certain artists will do, a few have mentioned, it's not a right or wrong way. It's like different styles of
Yeah, yeah.
hairlines and approaching. Are you staying core SMP, or are you still looking at the microblading, PMU, adding any of that in?
Okay, I do. Obviously, I've got scalp micropigmentation. 2 years later, I've done hairline hair strokes on the scalp treatment. So that's basically like microblading, but on the scalp. So that's more popular with the women. So I'm just drawing, it's different machines, different techniques. So it's just creating the hairlines. So if a woman has a hair type back, pull back, whatever, she's thinning hair. So that's good. I've started going into that as well. And no one else is doing that in Liverpool, not that I know of, apart from me. But let's get in there before someone else does.
You find is there a difference in awareness for that over SMP? What's the market?
I'm doing it now. I'm trying to get out there. So I've joined like network and stuff like that for businesses. So I'm trying to get that out there as well at the minute because that's just a bit quiet. But I guess it's quiet because no one's doing it. But I've got a couple of ideas I'm going to do, collaborating with a few people maybe, do you know what I mean, in salons and stuff like that. And yeah.
You came out of COVID all right. Apart from like the awareness, are there any specific obstacles you're finding at the moment in SMP? Or
Yeah, and people don't want to show their face. So I'm like, I need content, so I do give a discount, but a lot of people will come through the door and no pictures. I'm like, but I need to take a picture for me. They're like, yeah, but no social media. I'm like, okay, but I'll blur you out. And they're like, no, I don't want anyone. Yeah. So that's hard. And also blurring the face is hard because I like people to see the features of the face. And especially if I know my work is good and he's suited what I've done, I'm like, oh my God, this looks amazing. He's like, nah. I'm like, but it looks so good because I find a lot of men don't want to show people they're getting it done, which is
yeah,
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's like a self-esteem thing, confidence, ego, or you know how men can take the piss as well out of other men. Ah, you're getting bored and you went to get that done, or do you know what I mean? It just depends on you as a person. But and then I do get guys through the door, they're like, whatever, it's just a video, do what you gotta do. So it just depends. But that's another obstacle I'd say, is just contents with people. Even if you give like a discount or they're like, no, I'll leave you a review, which is sometimes I think something's better than nothing. But most times I'm like, but it looks so good. Like I just, especially when you've done a very good job, I always end up being those ones who are like, no, just don't want to be, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a bit difficult.
If you try, because I know sometimes with the ones when they first get it, they are a bit like want to hide it, but after they've had it for 2, 3 months and their mates, have you tried retouching with them maybe to see, hey, now you've had it sort of
Yeah,
3 months,
I do that.
come
I do
back?
that with my clients all the time. I always message them, how you getting on? They're like, I love it. And that I've had one that's, I think two people sent me selfies, but again, they're like, don't put it up. I'm like, but at least he's loving it and he's happy with it and I've built his confidence. That's the main thing. I'm like, content is another, but I'm like, you know what? With any business, it'll just take time. Do you know what I mean? There will be ones that will want to show it. And I'm thinking, you know what? People have took 10 years to build a business and I'm not going anywhere. I'm positive and I want to push it forward. And I know I will get there. I truly know there's a niche and I will get there. It's just a matter of time, but I've got nothing but patience.
Taking a long-term view is good because some of the training and stuff that goes on, there's quite a lot of new competition popping up, but I think some of them, just because a business won't last, they're not going to last 10 years, just as in any business you're not. And
Yeah.
I think the ones who stick, take a long-term view, establish a brand, are going to reap the benefits of that.
Mm.
Um, so are there any particular proud moments in S&P that you've done, particular people you've worked with that were
A
stand
proud
out?
moment would be just doing the training, obviously, because I had a baby and I left him to go to do the training when he was a year and a half, and that was difficult. Even just getting out there now, because I've always wanted to do my own thing. And after having a baby, I never really wanted to work for anybody because I knew it, like I needed flexibility. As a mom, you can only you feel mum guilt constantly working. So I wanted to work hours that suited for my baby. I didn't just want to put him in nursery and just focus on my business, no matter what, like he comes first. Although I'm quiet, I'm proud because I'm more confident, you could say. I know a lot more about S&P. I'm starting, you know, working on my social media where I'd have a period where I'm really not posting anything. But right now I'm starting like to show myself and so people can see the person behind the business and get to know a bit about my life, what it is, what got me, my journey. So I don't know whether you've seen that post where I didn't know what I was going to do after school, but then I lived abroad after getting married and had a baby. And then so just how far I've come basically, because no one pushed me. I just only obviously the support of my husband and my family. But yeah, I just didn't care. I thought I'm gonna do this. Whether people clap for me or not, I'm just gonna do it. That's itself is something to be proud of.
With you sharing the story as well. I think especially
Yeah,
now on social media, people they want to do business with the person more so than
yeah,
the
yeah.
brand as such.
And now it's just opened up, like you could say, a lot of doors because when they know, even like business coaches online, I join them as well via Zoom, where there's a bit like group of us in different industries, and you give your obstacles and your wins, and everyone just gives their opinion, and it's really good feedback. You gain a lot from it. Even networking, I gain a lot from it because people are like, "Oh, have you tried this?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've never really thought of that." Oh, have you tried that? Try doing this and try. Do you know what I mean? It's stuff that doesn't cross my mind, and I'm like, brilliant idea. No, it's stuff that it's truly good when they say join these online like business coaching and also just networking. It does play a big part because I can sit there on my own and think of things, but obviously not everything will come to mind. Do you know what I mean? These networking, obviously it's different industries, but at the end of the day, we've all got our own businesses, so it's the same. We've all got the same struggles on content, and we just bounce off each other and give each other ideas, and that's what it's about.
Having that, yeah, extra set of eyes, tapping into
Yeah,
that
yeah,
network
yeah,
as
you
well.
need it.
Because I think even as business owners, it's very easy to get
Yeah,
individual into our own set of what we think
yeah.
works,
Because
hammering that.
obviously they've been through it, and if I go through something, like I did that, try that, because that's what I was in your position. last year, and I'm thinking, okay, then, do you know what I mean? And I do take on board what people say. I'm not one of them or whatever. I really take it on. Yeah, so far so good.
So in S&P, do you have a particular client type that you prefer working with, or style, say alopecia, the baldness, the hair?
Just everything.
Just any
So
S&P?
basically, yeah, I love doing scarring once they've done the transplant. I love doing that work. Obviously, the number one everyone loves is plain canvas. Because that's just easy to work with the hairline that's suited for their face and obviously ethnicity. I look into that. And I just love the client that's just easygoing. So I'm not bothered whether it's just hair density, alopecia, or just balding at the crown, or receding hairline, or thinning hair, just anything. But I just love the client that's just easygoing, that sits down, whatever you think. And then we draw a couple of hairlines, and then he's, yeah, and I'm like, you've just got to love it. And he's, I love it. Or the guy that gives me the idea of what he wants, and I work around him. Because obviously it's a bespoke, isn't it? So you can't just do the same hairline for everyone, although there's a lot of people out there that do that. I'm like, no. No, if a guy comes to me like, sorry, but a white dude, and he's, I want a Drake hairline. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do you a Drake hairline. Just stop. Do you know what I mean? You have to go with ethnicity, and it plays a lot of, and age as well. So if I get a guy that, oh, I want my hairline just like above me, and I'm like, no, you're like 50 odd, you've got to have your hairline a bit back. Do you know what I mean? So then it looks a bit real. And also needles. The darker the skin, they've got coarser hair, so you use bigger needles. And then the lighter the skin, got finer hair, so you use small needles. So I work with that, and I learned that along the way, because a lot of people just use the same ink for any skin tone, and they use just the same needle. And I'm like, no, because you see white dudes with this big, massive dots, and I'm like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? When I see them out, I don't know where they've gone, but I'm like, no, because I just know as soon as I'm out, I just know, because people are like, how do you know? I'm like, he's had S&P. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, because I work in the industry. They're like, but it's undetectable. I said, I know, it's an amazing job, but I know he's had it done. I just know, I can see them out and about. But it looks good. I'm not saying it's so, but other people won't know, but we
Because you're
know,
aware,
because obviously
yeah.
we're in.
Do you find when people come in, quite a lot tend to have a preconceived idea of what sort of hairline they want?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
I do get a few that know what they want. And I agree. I'm like, yeah, I was going to do that anyway. Because obviously he's being realistic. There's a few people that just want a different hairline. I'm like, so I try to persuade them, but if they insist of wanting what they want, then I'll do it. But a lot of people, I've had no troubles where I agree or disagree with what he's going for, and I'll do it. It's always an agreement, because they end up going, you know what, you're right, you know best. I've kind, you know what, I can't complain about my clients, to be honest. It's been like good so far, because my clients are more relaxed. Do you know what I mean?
so is most of your client base local, or do you get any like traveling from further afield to you?
Both really. I've had two people from Manchester. I've had one from Wales, and I've had one from just out of Birmingham. But the rest, like you could say, from Liverpool.
So outside of S&P, what interests you? What do you get up to that you'd like to share?
I live an active lifestyle. I eat quite healthy. I love walking, so I go for walk, jogging, so I jog. So basically, I like keeping fit. I like going for brunches, coffees, socializing. So yeah, I'm more of a day girl, because then I like to get an early night to get like an early start. So yeah, that's me, and I love traveling. I love seeing the world.
Do you find any of those fit well or connect well with what you do in S&P and your business?
I could say that because obviously I could say most of my clients like keeping fit that I've had coming through the door. Do you know what I mean? So then you just connect by talking about fitness and stuff like that. And then I feel like, because a lot of my clients, I tend to ask, I love asking why they're getting it done. And then it ends up becoming like a therapy session, like a one-to-one therapy, which is I love, because they're like, I've just gone through a divorce, or I've just finished a long-term relationship, and I'm starting to look after myself, and I'm starting to, do you know what I mean? And I want to look younger. And I'm like, yeah, I'm always here to help. So it's good. I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of them are like, you can tell they wouldn't come to me if they're confident. So you can tell there's some sort of insecurity there. So it's just nice just to build them back up, talk to them, and just be able to relate to them. It's not all about money, because a lot of people just take the money, charge double, and then just get off. I'm more like, no. And then I like I said, after each session, some people do it like 7 days after or 10 days. I tend to give it 2 weeks, because I like to see how the pigment settles on the scalp and the scab and how it's took to its skin. And I'm very like, I'll message in between, how you getting on? And they're like, oh, I love it. Or yeah, it's good. I've had a lot of scabbing. And I'm like, it's okay. We'll sort it on your second session. Just make sure like you're moisturizing in between and that. Yeah, I'm not the one, just do the treatment, take the money and see you later. I'm a people's person. So I like to see how they're getting on, the gym. And then also after the second session, I tend to give it a month. I'm like, some of them get in with a month. Some of them will be like, oh, I'm going on holiday. Can we do it like within 5 weeks, 6 weeks? I'm like, yeah, the longer the better. Because then I know this is the last one I can. So yeah, where I find out, like I've seen a couple of artists is like a week in and then 2 weeks so they can do more clients. I'm like, no, I'm not about that. I'm more about like, this person's paying that much, because I put myself in that position. If I'm truly investing in myself, that amount of money, that's what I'm expecting. So I try and go above and beyond, to be honest. I'm very, do you know what I mean? Like I make them feel welcome and tea, coffee and refreshments, and then take a break if they smoke by all means, or they want to vape, or they want to use the toilet. And I just try and do one client a day. I don't understand how these people do 2, 3 clients a day. I'm like, no, because I like to take me time. Because I know my clients, when they ask me how long are you looking on, 2 hours, I'm like, no. Especially if I need to draw a hairline, because that's the longest thing to do, to get it symmetric, to get it right, to get it perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no. And they're like, you know what, forget, I'm like, you're here 4 hours. And they're like, you know what, I'll take a day off work. And then my focus is just on her or him that day. Even if it's a small job, I don't like rushing it. If I've got a woman or just a bit of SMP on the side, I'm not like, oh, that'll take me 2 hours. I'll book someone else in. No, one client a day. I'll be happy with one client a day. 5 days a week, I'm a happy chick. And it's not just about getting it done, they feel good. I like to give them that experience too, that comes with it. So when they leave, they're like, yeah, it wasn't just about money. She made me feel welcome, and she was nice to talk to, easy to get along with. She can relate to me, she can understand me. That's what I'm about, to be honest.
And it is quite a big life decision, getting
Yeah, that's why I
choosing
get
your
in shock
artist.
when people are like, oh, I'm on my third client today. I'm like looking at them thinking, what time just start at 5 a.m., finish 10 in the night? Because it's not easy. It really isn't. Because I take my time with my dots, and I'm not one of them that's just, unless you like, you've been doing it for years, like 10, 15 years, and then you're just doing the dots. Do you know what I mean? I like to take my time, and I need a break. Sometimes I'm like, is it okay if I have a break? Because my wrist is hurting me. It's nice because they can get up and stretch and
Is there anyone with industry, either like resources or particular artists who you
look up
find
to.
inspiration from? Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily, I mean, you might look up to them, but you know, just find more. I know like we all do it different as artists, but maybe as an artist or as a resource, like where you would go to like hone your skills.
Um, there isn't anyone that I would go to as in like message. There's Craig, obviously, because he's been doing it longer than me. If I need anything, like he's always there to help. But I'll probably look at the videos and see the techniques and that, you know what I mean, other artists. But there isn't someone where I'm like, oh, he's just the top. No, they're all, each and every one is really good out there. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's good at what they do. And some people that I do look at, I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't have done it that way, but that's suited for them, or maybe that client wanted that hairline or whatever. But I do find out in America, it's different than UK. America, from the first session, it's like a full head, where I'm thinking, huh, how are they fitting in the second or third session? Where in the UK, we scatter the dots and leave spaces. And then, because I feel like in America, it's very defined and sharp, where the UK is very undetectable and very, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying America's not more realistic results. It's just, it's different, isn't it, out there? I found that UK is more naturally, more like we go for the softer hairline, do you know what I mean? The softer edges, where theirs is like very defined and everyone's got the same hairline and everyone. So yeah, but if there's an artist I look up to, no, they're all just good. I follow loads and I'm like, wow, amazing work. And I do like the videos and the pictures. I'm not one of them that just bitter and well, they're doing so well. I like everyone. I like to see everyone win. So if someone's doing better than me, I'm like, oh, good for them. I'm going to be in that position soon. So I get inspired in that way, but I don't have a particular artist where I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to do what he does. But like I said, when I look at the videos, I do get a few bits from them.
With Ultimate Scalps, you do SMP and you do hair stroke. Is there any plans for expanding that further, either in the future
I
or
don't
you
know, because I just, for now, it's like SMP and hairline hair strokes. Yeah, once it really probably like kicks off, like I do really well, maybe. From now, for now, no. Because I don't like doing things that everybody's doing. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad now thinking about it, I didn't do the eyebrows because there's a lot of people in Liverpool who are doing eyebrows. And it will be more competitive for me because people have been doing it for 12 years, for 14 years. I'm like, you do think to yourself, who cares? I build a business, but it'll take me longer, if you know what I mean, because there's better out there. And people will have that fear, oh, she's just new. I'm not going to go to her. And when you're new, you can't really charge what other people experience. People are charging, you have to be a bit cheaper. So when someone's cheaper, you tend to think, oh no, I'm not going to her. Do you know what I mean? So I had to think of all that. So I didn't go into the eyebrows, and obviously lip blush again, everyone's doing it, and aesthetics, Botox, fillers, all everyone. I wait to see what's new and try and get into it. So yeah. I've got something in mind that it's not, I don't think it exists in the UK. I'm not going to tell you yet. I
Okay.
don't think it exists in the UK. I've seen it abroad. So it's big in Russia and Eastern Europe, but it's not big in the UK yet. I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to that if I do get into it.
Well, yeah, obviously you don't want to give it away now, but when you do it,
Yeah,
come
but
back. It's
I look at stuff that's not, I do my research. Like I said, I love beauty and I take pride in the appearance. And that's why when people come to me wanting help, I don't mind helping because I know they want to take pride in their appearance too. And that's something I love. So it's a win, really.
And okay, so is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Just keep doing what you're doing. And if you've got a business that's not doing well, just keep going, don't give up. Just keep pushing yourself and just have patience. Yeah, and just stay positive.
You can go a long way. That's great, Huda. Thank you for coming on today, Huda. It's been great speaking to you. There will be, wherever this is, we put this on the full versions on YouTube, Spotify. So there will be links to your website and your social so people can connect with you, follow your work.